how this brewery used to work. Now, let's talk about a little bit of history. Everything started in 1864, but not here. Our father, Adrian Heineken, bought a brewery in the center of Amsterdam called the Haystack Brewery. But there was a problem with this brewery, and is that it was using too much water from the canals, and it was also producing a lot of bad smell. So the local community was complaining a lot, so he decided to move to the outside of the city, which used to be this place right here. So this place was built in 1867, and you can say this was the first ever Heineken brewery. Now, if you all come a little bit to the front, because I want to show you guys one of our silos. After this, we became really famous in France. Interesting fact is that we became the first beer ever served in the Eiffel Tower. And after that, we began to promote our beers. As you guys can see an example right there, the blue poster. Now, something very interesting to take into consideration is back in the day what they would do is like they would open it right here. They would put the bottle, and then the bottle cap will be at the top. They would just close it, and it will create pressure and seal the bottle. So we could bottle about 7,200 bottles per day when we started using this. Of course, with all the innovation, nowadays we can do about 770,000 per hour. So it's like a super huge difference. An interesting fact. 7th of April, to be more specific, of 1933, President Roosevelt decided to sign an agreement that will change this forever. And people remember this because of his famous words. Now it would be a great time for a beer. The news spread all around the world, eventually arriving to the Netherlands, to be more specific, to Rotterdam, where at that time, our brewing master, Peter Veit, heard this and immediately took a ship arriving to New Jersey the 9th of April of 1933 with 50 crates and 25 barrels of Heineken beer. And ever since that day, Heineken became one of the most imported beers in the United States. We actually used to be the #1 imported beer, but because of COVID, now we're the second one, but we're still one of the most important ones. So this is why we like to say that Heineken was born in Amsterdam, but raised by the world. Now, if you guys continue upstairs, you guys are gonna learn more.
Hey guys, welcome to Quality from the Start. Here I'm going to tell you guys how we make our Heineken beer. Yeah, so before you taste it, you need to know how we make it, of course. So, I have a question for you guys. How many ingredients do we put in a beer? 4. Very good, you can count. Yeah? I like to say we need 5 because you also need a little bit of a half, right? Very important. Yeah? Okay, good. We agree on that one. Let's start with the first ingredient. It's our water. Someone want to have a guess how much % water is in a beer? Anybody?
99.
99? No. Very close, but no. Somebody else? It's 95 actually. So a lot of water in a beer. So if people say you drink too much Heineken, just say it's mostly water, yeah? But because we use so much water, it's very important that we make sure that the water is of great quality. Because everywhere in the world it's different. So in every brewery we have our own purification plan, where we use reverse osmosis to make sure all the water is of the same quality to start with, so the beer will taste the same. Makes sense, right? What we add then is our barley. This is a grain that we grow in the south of France. You can see it on the lovely poster right here. We grow it in France because there it's always sunny, and here in the Netherlands it's always raining, so we can't grow it here. Yeah? What we do is we add the barley into the water and then it starts to sprout. Then we roast it until it's a beautiful golden color because we want our Heineken beer to be golden. So the darker you roast it, the darker beer will get, the lighter you roast it, the lighter, but we want it golden. So no yellow, no amber, I don't want to hear it, golden. Yeah? Perfect. What we do then is we malt the barley, so we grind it up. We add the grinded barley into the water, heat it up to 78 degrees, and then the starches from the barley turn into sugar. And then we have a sugary liquid we call wort. Then we're gonna add our next ingredient, which is our hops. And you can see the hops plant right over there. Looks like a tree, but it's a plant. It can grow up to 9 meters tall and 30 centimeters a day. So we can later on have a Heineken and literally watch it grow. From the hops, we only use the unfertilized female plant because she contains lupuline. And lupuline is a chemical that makes sure that the beer stays good for longer, which is great, otherwise we have to chug it away. Yeah. It also adds the bitter aftertaste to a beer and the foam head on top, which in the Netherlands we like 2 fingers thick, otherwise we call our beer jet. Yeah? No, a lot of countries don't like the foam, we love the foam. Yeah? 2 fingers or you don't want it. So down in the bar you get a beer with not 2 fingers, you don't want it. Yeah? Tell them. Yeah? Make it tough on them. And then we're gonna add our next ingredient. This is our Heineken yeast. This is our special ingredient. This is what makes a Heineken. We've created this strain of yeast over 100 years ago, but because yeast multiplies itself, we can keep on using it. What the yeast does, it's like a little Pac-Man. You remember the board, the sugar? Like a little Pac-Man, it eats the sugar, turns it into carbon dioxide and into alcohol. Yeah? This whole process takes about 28 days. Luckily for you guys, I started 28 days ago, so down in the bar you have the freshest beer you'll ever taste. Yeah, only 3 days old. In the room next door you can actually see our old kettles where we used to brew our beer, where you can visualize this whole process. And I promise you guys, you're very close to tasting your beer. Yeah, so have fun in the rest of your tour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
was built in 1950s. That's why you can see a big difference. And just to start explaining with the brewing process, you need to know that we only needed 4 kettles. That's kettle number 1. You can see the number right at the top. Down here 2, on the corner 3, up down there 4. And it's the same thing on this side of the room. On the first 2 kettles, we will have the first 2 ingredients. That's the barley and the purified water. We purify the water in every Heineken brewery around the world, and we clean it through a process called reverse osmosis. That basically means that we take larger particles and bacteria out of the water, and at the end we have drinkable water ready for the brewing process, plain water. The second ingredient is our barley. How do we process our barley? Well, first, we soak the barley in the purified water until it cracks open. After that, we take it out of the water and we roast it by blowing hot air. We do it just slightly until we get a golden color out of the barley. That is the same color you see in our Heineken beer. After that, we crush it, we smash it until we get a powder form like, and that's the product we put in the kettle number 1, next to the clean water. We cook this mash, and that kettle gets the name of mash tun next to the mash. That means the mix of the barley and the purified water. We cook it slowly, gradually, until it increases the temperature all the way to 78 degrees. Why? because the starch inside the barley becomes sugar, creating a sugary liquid called wort. After we do that, after they increase the temperature gradually, and they did it by taking 1/3 of the mix from the first kettle, send it to the second kettle, and here boil it, and then send it back to the first kettle. This process will take around 3 hours, and after those 3 hours, the wort was ready. But of course, they needed to filter, right, to get rid of the cooked barley. To do that, they will send it to the kettle number 3, that if you take a look inside, you're going to see a sieve right at the bottom, and from there they will take the wort, they will separate the wort from the cooked barley. The cooked barley has a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it's really good to feed the cattle. Back then, they would send it to different farms around Amsterdam for that purpose. And today we're trying to get in different conversations with the local zoo, in this case artists, to also send the barley that we're cooking here over there, so they can give it also to the animals. After we get the wort, you can see that between kettle 3 and 4 there's a deep tray. There's one in there, another one over there. Why? To test the wort. If the quality was the right one, they will continue with the brewing process. If not, they will drop everything and start from scratch. In this case, if the wort has the right quality, they will put it in the kettle number 4, where they will add the hops. Hops is a plant. It's a type of plant. You want to take a look and pass it around if you want. This plant, we grow it in the south of, in Germany, in Czech Republic, and in the United States. This plant grows insanely high, up to 9 meters, and the only part we use is a teeny tiny flower, and that's the unfertilized female flower. Why? Because the male flower has a lot of fat and kind of cuts the brewing process. That's why we only use the unfertilized female flower. When we add the hops to the brewing process to the 4th kettle and we boil it, it releases a lupulin. Lupulin is a natural preservative that it keeps our beer fresher for longer, in this case up to 8 months. It gives the bitterness to our beer and the sturdy foam you see in every Heineken glass. After we cook our beer, our wort with the hops, we filter it again to get rid of the cooked hops, and then we needed to cool it down. In the past, they will send it to the floor number 6. They will put everything in a huge pool, open doors and windows during winter times to cool it down gradually until it reaches between 2 and 3 degrees. During summer times, I told you before, they will have big chunks of ice around this pool to cool it down. After it reached the right temperature, it was ready for the fermentation process. This will happen in the fermentation tanks. The fermentation tanks were located in that part of the building, and then in there they will add the yeast. In this case, this is a very special yeast. It's called the A yeast. The A yeast was discovered by Dr. Ilion, and Dr. Ilion was a student from Louis Pasteur. This yeast is so special because we've been using the same strand from the last 150 years. It's a living organism that reproduces itself. That's why we're being able.
We add malted barley. We heat it up to create a sugary liquid called wort. Hops are added for the bitter flavor. Yeast converts the sugar into carbon dioxide, alcohol, and a fruity flavor. You have been transformed into a fresh Heineken